Hello everybody and welcome to my podcast JustDelphineKnit. This is episode 14 if I'm not mistaken, and I'm happy to welcome you back or welcome you for the first time. I'm Delphine, I'm a knitter based in Belgium. I'm 33 years old and I'm living here with my husband, whom I also knitting for. Today I have a few finished objects, some whips and a lot of plans. I'm not a person that talks for hours about knitting, but I think I will give you a lovely overview to enjoy. So what am I wearing? I'm wearing my Cosmo cardigan, which I have tested for Rust Knitwear. I will just stand up. So just a moment, because if I'm sitting so this is my Cosmo cardigan. It has a broken rib and a plain stockinette part with a cable in between. This is also the case for the sleeves and for the back. I have made this one in Sandnes Garn Sunday and Tynn silk mohair, which is the very first time I'm using this yarn. I didn't use it before because it's quite expensive. But I did buy it at Wolly Wonka in Mortsel and the leftovers could be returned, so I just did that and I got a little bit of money left, back actually, so that's great, which makes that this cardigan, buttons included, will be around 92 euros, I guess, which is expensive for me. I can afford it, but it's not what I'm usually buying, but I like it. This cardigan has been knitted in a month and a day time, which is really fast for me. The test knit had a really tight deadline, which was only feasible for me because I had a holiday in between and some quiet weekends as well. So I will not standard apply for short test knits. I usually enjoy the process of knitting as well, and I want to have a longer period to knit something. But I did want this cardigan so badly that I applied, and I'm glad I did because I truly enjoy the cardigan. It's something that can be combined with almost all of my wardrobe, so I'm glad that I have that. So this is my Cosmo cardigan from Rust Knitwear, and the good thing is I'm filming this on a Saturday and tomorrow the pattern will be released. So by the time you see this, the pattern is released. So go and check out Rust Knitwear and buy that pattern because it's so awesome. It's the very first time I did a double knitting button band. It takes ages, but it's so worth it. I will do it more often for sure. So this is actually my first finished object and what I'm wearing. I'm wearing something else as well, which is not a recently finished object, but it is my socks. Those are socks I made, I think in March or April or something, so it's perfect weather today to wear them. But I do have another finished object. It's actually a pair, because it's socks. Just a moment. Those are my very first Colorwork socks I've ever made. These are from the book Soxx Mixx and they are made in Langyarn's Jawol. I like them, I like the feeling, but I actually bought the exact same yarn colors as in the book, but the contrast in real life is less than it's in the book or on a picture. So I will make this again in other colors that are more contrasting, but also I will make this in other yarn because this yarn, in my opinion, is not sticky enough to knit Colorwork socks. It's really soft, that's the case, but I'm not using it anymore for Colorwork. But I'm happy with it and I will wear them next week. So those are my finished objects. Now it's time for whips. First whip is a test knit again, but with a longer test deadline and more relaxing, and it's this Pippin sweater for the Knit Purl girl. It's on a quite short cord for the moment, so I'm sorry, but yeah, I will just show you closer. The yarn is less bright in real life than it is on the camera, but the lighting today is, yeah, it's a nightmare. It's raining and it's gray, and it will be the same weather tomorrow, so it doesn't matter if I'm waiting or not, so you have to deal with it. But this is my Pippin sweater for Knit Pearl Girl. The yarn is Annell Malmedy, which is a Sportlight DK weight yarn. It's a Belgian brand. It's 100% merino superwash. I like it. It's really affordable. The yarn I've bought for this cardigan cost me 33 euros, so it's really affordable if you compare it to this cardigan. So yeah, I like it. As we're used to from the Knit Pearl Girl, the pattern is really well instructed, and yeah, it's a pleasure to knit for her. She's really relaxed, so yeah, I like it. I like the pattern as well because although it's just raglan with a simple stitch, it doesn't look just plain raglan. It's really like an interesting stitch pattern. So yeah, I enjoy it. So we'll knit on this later today again. So this is the first test knits. And then I have socks. I'm just thinking, no, I will not show you socks first. I will first show you an older whip which has gotten some attention. This is my Biella from the Knit Pearl Girl. This must be my most, no, it's not, but this is my longest lived recent whip. I've given it some attention to the body, and it's like there is 5 centimeters of body extra. This is the perfect knit for knit nights. It's just knit to purl to. Why didn't I make a lot of progress on this one? Is just because I'm feeling more joy in my other projects for the moment. It's not that this doesn't give me joy, but because of the really high color, it's not something I would wear now directly, so that's why I'm now knitting on something that I could wear in a few weeks, whereas this will be a real winter garment. So I think that's the main reason. But I'm still knitting on it, and yeah, I will finish it someday. Okay, now it's time for my sock whips. First sock whip is for a knit along of the Crazy Sock Lady, which is the Scrappy Stripy socks. And for those that recognize these colors, they are the leftovers of this sock. So I added some brown to contrast a bit with the stripes. They will most likely fall out of my nails once they get more attention, but I really like it. And then I have another one. So these are some socks in yarn from Atelier Wolbeest. I've already made some socks in these. I will pop a picture. And now I am making socks with the leftovers. Well, leftover with the rest of the skein. It was more than half of the skein left. Now I will use the yellow for the calf and the toe. And I will use this lilac color for the heel, so that I have slightly different socks. These will be slightly longer because it gets colder. They also only have 56 stitches instead of 60. And yeah, that's the main difference, I think. I'm making fast progress on this one because I want to make a Scrappy Stripy sock of the leftovers, especially of the lilac and the yellow. But that's why I want to make more progress on these ones to have scraps. So that's my mind. You can just ignore it. And then I have an older one that I promised to finish, but I forgot this back in my husband's car for a few weeks. So I couldn't read, well I could, but every time I thought about it, he was away with the car. So that's a pity, but I had like 2 or 3 centimeters of this second sock of the broken rope sock I knit for him in Cotton van Sachenmayer. I think I would be more engaged in knitting these if I would knit these on my hayahayas. They are so sharp, they sometimes hurt. So that's the case. So those are all my active whips. I'm also knitting on a cowl for a test knit. I only forgot to take it, so I only have 2 centimeters of the border, so I will show you next time. And I also was selected to knit a cowl for the Crea Bea. which I will also start like next week. A cowl is yeah, more fast in between projects, of course, and since the weather is getting cold, it will be something I will use a lot. I wasn't able to knit a lot the last week because I had some issues with the musculus trapezius in my shoulder and neck, but I'm having physiotherapy now, so it gets better. So we're on a good way. So those are my whips. Time for plans. So, as most of you know, there is a mystery knit-along of Stephen West in October, but I won't show. And I will show you why. In this bag, I have the only shawl I ever started from Stephen West, and it's the hybrid knit-along of this year. And this is, it's, yeah, not a lot. And as you can see, it's stiff. I don't like it, how it falls, and I think I chose the wrong yarn because he uses quite expensive yarns and they have a different feeling, so I'm not feeling it anymore. And I will frog this one to make a sweater of Herb Garden Knitwear. Who is sick of or something. I will just pop the name below because I can't remember the name. But it's a beautiful striped sweater, and I think these colors are lovely together and will make a lovely sweater. This sweater will, of course, only be made in like a few months or something, but it will be, by the way, my first sweater making use of two colors. So that's a good thing as well, to learn something new. But I did want to knit a shawl. And the first thing I found out was a knit-along of Katja, which is in this box. Just a moment, I will show you the picture. So it's with a lot of colors. They say it's like 1 week for apart or something, but yeah, for me it will most likely take a little longer because I'm not the fastest in knitting with different colors, but I do like it that it has that lovely color palette, and it looks quite bright, but it's actually quite okay if you see them in real life. I will just, well, this is not real life for you, of course, but these are the colors. So I really look forward to have more colors in my wardrobe, because I noticed that for knitting I always tend to have more neutrals or like blue, because you knit a long time at something and then I want to be able to combine it with a lot, so that's actually the reason. But a shawl is a perfect accessory. That knit-along starts the 17th of October, and I'm not sure when I will finish this because it will be a lot of work, but there is another knit-along from Herb Garden Knitwear. Please check out her Instagram, she tells everything about it, and there is a discount code until the last day of September for her shawl patterns. I will make one of her shawls, but I forgot the name, so we'll put it down here. It's in mohair, and this is what I will be using. So in the beginning of this year I got from my aunt a box full of yarn, actually from an older lady that owned the yarn store before. So I'm trying to use that yarn, but it's not really easy to find the projects. So this one looks ideal to use for a shawl. It has the exact, well, more or less the same yardage per gram as the Rico yarn Herb Garden Knitwear uses. So it will not have a fade, it will be plain colored shawl, and yeah, but I do think it will be perfect. It's a mixture of mohair and acrylic, so that's actually what older ladies used in the past, I guess, because there was a lot of acrylic back then. You can see how old it is at the label here. So that will be what I'm using in for that knit-along. The shawl pattern, I have read it, it seems quite fine, like it's not that difficult as the multicolored one, so I think it will be perfect to use it as a evening knit from the beginning of October, and I can't wait to finish it. So that's already a plan. Then I have another test knit with a due date in January 2023, so that's fine. It's a buttercup cardigan for Rust Mixx in this beautiful alpaca from Drops. It's a green-gray color. I picked it up earlier today, and because of the alpaca sale at Drops, this cost me, just a second, I will have a look at my receipt somewhere in this bag. It says, no, that's not the one. No, it doesn't say anything. But if I remember correctly, I think this is around 17 to 18 euros, so it's fine. But yeah, I'm looking forward to using it. I will swatch in the future and then maybe cast it on someday in the next months. But I have time. But I have more plans. So in just before the summer, I received the Summer of Socks of Wol met Verve, which you can see in my special sock episode. And one of the patterns that's currently being published is the shorty sock with stripes. And it's meant to have these two colors. So I will just stripe them. I'm not sure if I will do it directly with these or first try some leftover Jawol yarn to make sure I have the striping technique in my hands for socks. But yeah, these will for sure become socks one day. And I guess that's the main plans, except for the fact it was my birthday. And for my birthday, I got something for my husband. He bought me sock yarn. So this is perfect from Regia. Yeah. He bought me 2 skeins. He didn't know I only needed 1, but that's not a problem. It's not the most expensive either. This yarn in general, because it was different color, is his favorite pair of socks currently, actually. So 1 ball will be turned into a pair of socks for his feet. And then I'm doubting if I would make myself a second one or my mom. Why am I doubting? Because I know my husband and he will take my socks by accident and then stretch them too much. So I'm not sure if I want to risk that or if I just want to knit a pair for my mom, which would be perfect as well. So we'll see. And then I got another present, which is from my mom. And my Pippin sweater lives in it. It's this one. It's this granny square bag. I love it. I'm unable to knit granny squares at this point in my life because I don't know how. And I don't have the time to learn because I'm knitting too much. So I think it's great that my mom made this for me. I was able to choose the colors. And I choose the blue as a background color, and then the bright colors for the inside actually. And although in the beginning she was like, oh, so dark, but then now that she has seen it, she's like, oh, it's nice. So that's one gift. And then my parents also bought me a neck lamp to knit, but that's still on its way to me, so I will receive that somewhere next week. So that's actually everything I wanted to say today. I have the impression it was really fast, but I think that's a little bit my nature. And that's also why I'm sometimes making more focused episodes on certain topics. So if you have another topic you want, please pop it below. I'm thinking about making a episode about the no-frill sweater maybe, or about all the cardigans I've made in the past. So please let me know if you would appreciate that. So that's actually that thing. Today I'm using my microphone again, so please tell me if that works or not. I got some complaints about the sound recently, and I tried it myself on different devices, and it seems that on my cell phone it's not, it's really quiet, whereas on the television it's fine. So I think it's a cell phone kind of thing, but of course I want people to be able to listen to it on different devices. So that's that. I'm going to close this. If it's not too long, then the uploading doesn't take that long, because now I have filmed on my phone because the microphone doesn't work on the Apple iPad, and so I have to transfer this little movie to my iPad to edit it and then put it on YouTube. So it might take a while before I have done that, and well, then it's more easy. Well, it's easier if it's not that long. So I hope you enjoy your autumn knits, and please leave me a message about what you're knitting on. It might inspire me to knit it as well. See you!